Hello, and welcome to the Chomp podcast. My name is Sean Young. I'm the copy and opinions editor here at Golden Gate Express. This week, we have SFSU pitcher Nathan Shinn. We're going to be talking about his summer, how he prepared for his senior baseball season, and the Major League Baseball wild card race as the MLB season comes to a close. Let's get started. How are you doing today, Nathan?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
To get started, how's your semester going so far?
It's going really good. So a lot more in-person classes, a lot more things towards my major. So it's really interesting. Really getting into it's business management. It's the major. So it's a lot of like team dynamics and like a lot of HR stuff, and it's pretty interesting.
Team dynamic seems interesting,
Yeah.
obviously, because, playing on a sports team, playing on a
Mhm.
baseball team, there's a lot of dynamics about playing on a team.
Mhm.
Do you think there's some crossover within that?
Oh, 1000%. When I was learning the material for every week. I was like, huh, I can use this. I can use like, okay, this person acts this way. So instead of just, being angry with them, instead de-escalate the situation and come in at a place of how can I help both of us understand? And that's something you can 100% take into a team dynamic.
That's awesome, actually.
Yeah.
That's really cool to think about.
Mhm.
There's a lot of crossover, I would say, within the realm of business and sports, but
Yeah.
I never really thought about it that way.
Yeah.
Awesome. With that, how do you feel about the upcoming season for San Francisco State?
Yeah, I mean, I'm really excited. Every year we wish to go farther in the playoffs and eventually get to the World Series and win the World Series. And this year, I mean, I think we're what, 3 weeks in, so it's fresh, but love being back with my old teammates, and I love getting to know the new teammates and Coach Stefano, and then our new pitching coach, Coach White,
Okay.
who was the hitting coach, and but now he's pitching and hitting coach and catching coach, so he's wearing a lot of different hats.
All right.
So that's been a lot of fun, kind of talking pitching with him, and then we also have two more pitching assistants on hand as well. So there's a lot of spreading of ideas, trying new things out. If they work, that's absolutely fantastic. If they don't work, great. We learn from it. So it's a great trial and error process so far that they've developed.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see that. Are you excited to work with some of the new coaches and sort of just work with what you're doing with pitching?
Yeah. So again, like I said, Coach White, very experimentalist. And then I'd say the other two coaches, one's young and he's very into the data and very much into like, are you familiar with like Rapsodo?
Yeah, yeah.
So pitching metrics, stuff like that. And he also has us doing like conditioning and like making sure our arms are in shape. And then our new coach, he's a little bit older and he's been around coaching at CSM for I believe like 20 years. May fact check me on that. He just got brought to us or is helping us out the last week is when he started. He'll be with us throughout the rest of the season, fall and spring, I believe. And he's bringing like the traditions and patterns of winning pitchers. So there's a lot of new ideas with Coach White and the new younger pitching coach. And then with the older pitching coach, it's a lot of like, okay, baseball has changed a lot in the last 30 years. Throughout those 30 years, here are some of the benchmarks that have led to success.
All right.
So it's a lot of like we can go back in the history of baseball and also moving forward into the new age of baseball. So it's an interesting mix.
All right. Absolutely.
Mhm.
With that, I mean, part of that dynamic obviously is you've been pitching for, forever now, it feels like,
Yeah.
obviously growing up. And the last two summers, not this previous summer, but you were pitching with the Portland Pickles, if I'm not mistaken,
Yeah.
in the West Coast League.
Mhm.
Um, you know, I didn't see you on the roster for that this summer.
No.
What did you do to prepare this year?
Like what did I do in the summer?
Yeah, yeah.
So I went and trained at a baseball facility in Scotts Valley, down near Santa Cruz.
Okay, yeah.
And I did that with a guy named Matt Rossingle.
Okay.
That's the trainer there. And I did that because I felt like my arsenal and my stuff as a whole could use an improvement and to really hone in on my stuff.
Yeah.
And like how I'm moving in some strength inefficiencies or some lacking strength. I'm like strong, but there's like little movements that that I need to get better at.
Yeah.
And that's what I did over summer. I was there 6 days a week, working from like my day started around like 9 and then would end at like 3.
Mm-hmm.
So that's Monday through Saturday, Sunday off. And I got that because my friend and teammate David Eichhorn
Mm-hmm.
is from that area, and he recommended Matt Rossingel to me. So the place is called Rossi's Training,
Aussie's training.
and that's what I was doing this summer. And we'll be working throughout the fall too.
Awesome. Talk me a little bit. So you're working 6 days a week,
Mhm.
9 to 3, if you're
Yeah,
not mistaken.
about yeah.
What was it like one of those days in your life? Like walk me through a day.
100%. So all of them are pretty similar. So they would start, or like I said, at 9, and then we would go. So the first day you were there, you would do a physical assessment, which would test your how much force you're putting into the ground, your mobility,
Mhm.
and overall strength.
Yeah.
And then he sees you throw, and then he sees your mechanics, and sees some of your energy inefficiencies. So like if I'm not transferring as much energy as I can from the ground to my arm,
Mm-hmm.
we'll design movements to help um, make my rotation or my mechanics more efficient, which could be a strength thing or it could be a sequencing thing, right? So that's the first day. I preface with that because my entire program was based off of those in that first day, pretty much, and then we
Okay.
go from there. So again, I'll go back to a normal day. 9 a.m. Get there. I go into my personalized workout warm up,
Mm-hmm.
and that takes around 30 to 45. It takes a while.
Yeah.
So what I'm learning as I'm like a lot of my friends are getting into pro ball,
Mm-hmm.
and that a lot of their warm ups are like 45 minutes to an hour. And then other guys that I'm with, their warm ups are like 10 minutes. So it's a wide range for different what different people need. So it's but a lot of them are longer is what um I'm finding out. But so I go into a warm up that takes around 30 to 45. Then I go into my throwing for the day.
Mm-hmm.
And then I take a little break in between to eat a snack or whatever. And then I get into my lifting,
Mm-hmm.
and then I get into my post throw.
Okay.
And that pretty much takes 9 to 2:33.
All right.
And then what I would do is I would take like a hour, 2 hour break, and then I would get into some recovery stuff. That's like my own program, not my own program, but it's stuff that I really like to do and that keeps me healthy. And then I would coach little kids. I'll do like a travel ball thing.
Awesome.
So yeah, it was like my whole day was packed.
That's awesome.
But yeah.
Appreciate it.
Hmm?
And you did that basically the entire summer.
Yeah, from late May to mid August.
All right. So
So yeah.
yeah, sort of
Mhm.
just locked in.
Yeah.
All right. With that, I think it sort of brings you back to, you've been pitching for San Francisco State for now the past 3 years.
Mhm.
Last year on May 3rd, you broke the all-time strikeouts record
Yeah.
here at SF State when you're 190th, if I'm not
I
mistaken.
think so. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I think 190, and you still have one more season to go.
Mhm.
What does that record mean to you going into your senior year?
To be honest, I didn't really think about it. To me, I was given an opportunity to pitch a lot here, which I'm very grateful for Coach Shafano for giving me that opportunity every year and trusting me. Because really, what that means to me is I was given a lot of reps
Mhm.
as a freshman, sophomore, and junior through thick and thin, and I really appreciate the coaching staff and for letting me kind of go through the bumps and bruises, and for my catchers for framing those pitches and calling the games. Well, some the coaches would call the games, but sometimes they would let us do it every once in a while. But yeah, I guess it's a good result from my process. So I guess that's kind of what it is from it, and because I can't control what the batter does
Mhm.
or what the umpire calls.
Yeah.
I just put my best foot forward, and when I broke it, it was I was with my mom. My mom was down with me in Dominguez, and it kind of like was kind of surreal at the moment because just going through the thick and thin of my baseball career as a whole. She was with me. My dad was obviously with me too.
Yeah.
But and just having that moment with her was really special.
Awesome.
Mhm.
No, and great to hear that, honestly. It's exciting. I think, 200 careers is right
Oh
there,
yeah,
obviously. Um,
I might have broken it. Well, are we counting playoff case?
if you're planning playoffs, then you've definitely hit 200.
Yeah.
But I think if we're looking at regular season, I think they listed it at 190.
Okay.
So,
Cool.
yeah, exciting stuff.
Yeah.
All right. With that, one thing you've mentioned before as well is, you're really dedicated, obviously, to athletics, pitching, being a part of a baseball team, but you're also really committed to your academics and what you do off the field. And so, my question is, as you enter your senior year, if you had to give one piece of advice, both on the field and off the field, to maybe some younger players on the team or to just anyone, what would be like your one on the field advice and what would be your one off the field advice?
Can I start with off the field?
Absolutely.
Time block. I make sure I have 2 hours a day. Most likely, it'll be the first thing I do in the morning to do homework.
Mhm.
And it kind of frees up my day. If I am disciplined from, let's say, 7 to 9, I get up at 6:30 at breakfast. And then from 7 to 9, I block that time out so I can hammer out all my academics for the day. I do that for 4 or 5 days and then I'm done because I'm very efficient in that time.
Mhm.
And then when a lot of student athletes get carried away with the day and they have practice and they're tired and then they go to bed and then they wait Saturday and Sunday and have like 15 assignments due.
Mhm.
But if you just wake up at 6:30, well, it's just the first thing you do in the morning, whatever your schedule allows for, right?
Yeah.
And just allow yourself to just hammer that out. And then from 9 to the rest of the day, it's all what you're passionate about, which is for me, baseball. So that would be the off the field is time blocking.
Mhm.
On the field, so am I talking like freshman?
Yeah. If you're talking to freshmen.
Okay. Relax, um, and have fun. I in ways I still feel like a freshman. Um, so it's kind of I don't feel like a senior at all.
Mhm.
I feel like I still have like 2, 3 more years left, but this is it.
Yeah.
This is the last year, and I just feel like it. Coach Stefano says it'll go like that, and he told me that as a freshman, and I was like, no, it won't. It won't. Like he's full of it. And then I'm here right now. It's like, oh my God, I am a senior.
Yeah.
This is my last year, and it just felt like it just flew by. So I would say enjoy the day, um, enjoy the process, and have fun. Um, have fun with the process. Because for me, I worked really hard,
Mhm.
but I didn't give myself. I never really patted myself on the back as a freshman.
Yeah.
Through like half of junior year, because I always thought you need to be better, you need to be better, you need to be better. So work really hard and give yourself props for working really hard. So I don't know. I that's not one piece of advice. If I do, I have to give one, or is that good?
I think that's great,
Okay.
honestly.
Okay.
I can sort of relate to that since even though I wasn't really a sports person after high school,
hmm
I just, time goes by so quickly,
Yeah.
honestly. And so I think that's just great advice that, you know, your time is gonna fly. Make the best with what you have with it,
Yeah.
honestly. So I think anyone can sort of relate to that, whether you play sports, whether you don't, anything like that.
100%.
Absolutely. With that, so one season is coming to a close, the Major League Baseball season, as
hmm
you prepare for your upcoming season.
Yeah.
So, sort of a little transition of the guard there, but I would love to get your thoughts on the MLB wildcard race, sort of transitioning to professional baseball.
hmm
Right now, I'm taking a look at the standings.
Yeah.
I wrote them all down. You got Baltimore in the AL with 85 wins, Kansas City with 82, Detroit with 80, and Minnesota with 80. And in the hunt, Seattle, Boston, Tampa Bay, and Texas.
hmm
Do you think any of the four teams, Baltimore, Kansas City, Detroit, Minnesota, fall out? Do you think they stay? And do you think if there's anyone in the hunt, do they make it?
So 4 make it, right?
Yep, four make it.
I think Detroit and Boston switch.
Detroit and Boston.
Yeah, I think Boston's gonna make a late surge. I think they're gonna. How many games are left?
Oh, that's a good question.
What, 8?
I want to say around 8.
That sounds right. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think they're gonna go 6-2. I think Detroit is gonna go 3-5, and I think they're gonna swap places.
All right.
That's my hot take.
That's your hot take.
Yeah,
All right.
because
I
the
know.
rest are pretty solid. Like, or the Orioles and the Royals, those other two.
Yeah.
Those are some of the best teams in the league. Well rounded, and I think those are both have opportunities to make it to the World Series. So, yeah.
All right. With that, that's the American League.
Mhm.
Looking at the National League,
Yep.
we got San Diego with 87 wins,
Mhm.
Arizona with 84, and the New York Mets
Yeah.
with 84. And in the hunt, you still have Atlanta, you got the Chicago Cubs, and you got St. Louis.
How many wins does Atlanta have?
Atlanta's got 83.
And they're not in it? Or
They-
are they in it?
They are not in it right now. They are one game behind the Mets. If they take the lead, I think they take over from the Mets.
I think it sticks.
You think it stays?
Yeah, I really like the Mets. I thought they underperformed for like the first half of the year, and then Lindor picked up, and then they all picked up, and then yeah, I love watching Sean Manaea pitch.
Yeah.
I think it's really cool to watch from that low slot, high rise heater. It's almost like Sale, but a little higher slot, and I just think he attacks his zone really well. So yeah, I'm sticking with the Mets.
Honestly, I respect the pick.
Thank you.
I know like a lot of people have embraced the meme of like McDonald's grimace
Yeah.
when he showed up on the field in the Mets season turnaround.
Was that on purpose? What was that?
I have no idea what
I don't
that
know anything
was.
about that. It just showed up one day on my Instagram feed, and
Yeah.
that was it.
Yeah, but apparently they've now installed like a purple seat in the stands at City Field, and like that's the grimace seat. And I'm like, okay, I'll
So,
pay.
is the grimace? Is that like a menu item on the McDonald's?
I think it's like a former mascot. I'm pretty
Okay.
sure.
Okay.
Yeah. And so I guess they brought it back for like a hot minute, and for some reason, just the stars aligned, and next thing you know, the Mets are in the wild card.
Let's go then.
All right.
Yeah.
And then you can't forget Jose Iglesias as well.
Oh yeah, one of the best gloves of the 2010s, and he's still doing it. So yeah,
Yes.
amazing.
Absolutely. With that, I think that's everything I have for you today. Thank you so much for your time.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you for listening to the Chomp podcast. We'll be back with more episodes. This has been Sean Young for Golden Gate Express.